Hey guys, Frosty here, and welcome to another DMZ video. Today's video is all about insured weapons in Season 2 of DMZ. How the cooldowns work, and what is the fastest way to reduce that cooldown. So let's jump right into it. First off, I want to explain the insured weapon slot cooldown timers for new viewers. So in DMZ, as I'm sure you may have seen in the game, you have insured weapon slots, 3 of them to be exact. Each of those weapons, when they're unlocked, you can equip them as a weapon to take into DMZ with you. If you die with that weapon equipped, there's a cooldown until you can use that weapon slot again. Now, each of these weapon slots have their own different cooldown timer, and we'll go over that here in just a second, but that gives you a pretty much close representation of how they work. So, the cooldown timers have changed from Season 1. In Season 1, the cooldown timers were as follows: 2 hours for Slot 1, 4 hours for Slot 2, and 6 hours for Slot 3. Now, those timers were extremely long and, let's be real here, a little bit much for a lot of us. However, in Season 2, they have changed to the following. The first insured weapon slot has been reduced to 1 hour, the second slot to 2 hours, and the third slot to 3 hours. So basically, they've been slashed in half at this point. This is a great change to the game and makes it honestly a lot more enjoyable to play, being that your cooldown is not so long and you can jump back in within your insured weapon. So next, I want to go over the fastest way in the game to reset that cooldown timer. The way to reduce your cooldown timer is the same as it was in Season 1, which is by exfilling with cash or by dropping cash in a dead drop. Currently, the fastest way to do this is by dumping your cash into a dead drop. And this can also include valuables and other items into the dead drop to get that cooldown timer reduced even more. In Season 2 of DMZ, you can now also drop weapons into the dead drop container, which is fantastic. It doesn't matter what gun you throw in the dead drop, but each one will reduce that cooldown by 8 minutes. This is a pretty huge deal, as guns are everywhere due to AI being also everywhere. So now you can just basically kill a bunch of AI in the area of the dead drop containers, which there tends to be a lot of them around, and just drop a weapon in there and continually reduce that timer. So the next thing I want to point out, which is also a really big one to do, with some differences that are in Season 2, is that you can also obviously dead drop self-revives, and this was in Season 1 as well. This one that makes it really cool is that it seems that they've increased the self-revive availability in the hospital zones all over Al Mazrah, and I believe even in Ashika Island. Now, the big thing with these is that the self-revives, as I said, the spawn rate is a lot higher in hospitals now, and you could go in there and get 2 or 3 of these and run them over to a dead drop. The thing with these in a dead drop is that you actually get 20 minutes per self-revive. So if you can get 2 or 3 self-revives, you have 40 to 60 minutes of cooldown. So you have a whole hour there almost for just 3 self-revives, which is fantastic. Lastly, I'm going to point out is the hardest of the 3 that you can do, but if you're really good at doing it, it's honestly not the worst idea. So which is the hardest way, you may be asking, and I'm going to tell you right now, that would be using the weapons case in a dead drop. So yes, you can actually drop the weapons case into a dead drop container, and that one will give you 50 minutes of cooldown reduction, which is insane. But obviously this one is a lot harder to manage for some of us casual players, but it's still a lot of time reduced from your cooldown. Now, I will add with this one that even if you do drop the weapons case in the dead drop, you will be marked as for the remainder of that game as having the dead drop or having the weapons case in your possession. So keep that in mind, that you'll still be marked and teams will still be coming to try and kill you to take that weapons case away from you. And lastly, do not forget about this one. You get way more cooldown when you dead drop cash. For instance, exfilling with 10,000 cash gives you roughly 14 minutes of cooldown. However, if you dead drop that 10k into the dead drop dumpster, you'll get 20 minutes of cooldown. So the lesson here is that dead drop items and cash when you can, as the payout is greater in regards to your insured weapon cooldown. The caveat with this, though, is that you don't get as much XP for dead dropping cash, or if you even get any at all, versus exfilling with it. However, if you're just trying to remove your cooldown timer after you've just died in a match, this is, I'm sure, not really a concern at that point of your mission. So that's going to do it for today's video. I hope this helps you guys in, grinding back outs once you've died in a match and trying to get your insured weapon slots back. So if this helps you, or if you have a tip regarding this as well, do me a favor, leave it down below in the comment section, leave a like, and of course, don't forget to subscribe for more DMZ content. I also want to shout out to all of the new subscribers and all of the views from you guys recently. It's been really crazy and cool to see, the growth in this channel lately. So I appreciate that a lot. So thank you guys. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, stay frosty, and we'll see you in the DMZ.